Borussia Dortmund officials believe Erling Haaland has agreed to move to Manchester City. This is one of the biggest transfer stories that will ever exist. The level of money we're talking about to buy Haaland, the contract is said to be somewhere in the region of £500,000 a week. Many tip Haaland and Mbappe to go head-to-head for the next decade as the best two players in the world. So their transfers are huge news. Where will they go? We're going to delve into that and a little bit more on this stream this morning. But according to sources from Germany, Manchester City is the agreed destination of Erling Haaland. Sky Sports here claim that Borussia Dortmund expects striker Haaland to sign a £500,000 a week deal at Manchester City. That is the claims that have been pushed out and echoed across social media in recent days. Here, City Extra say that Team Haaland asked Man City about Pep Guardiola's future. Man City responded by saying that he will think about staying longer than 2023, whilst the club are hoping to convince him to stay another year at least. So what we can see here is that the Pep era looks like it's got a couple of years left on it. That is obviously important to Haaland's team. Who is going to be the manager? How dominant are they going to be? And probably a case of who are you looking at to be the next individual to come in and take over? Of course, Christian Falk and a lot of outlets in Germany are talking that Dortmund believe it is going to be Manchester City that he goes to. £500,000 a week. Now, what's really intriguing, I spoke to a few journalists myself in the last couple of days, they have a slightly different take on it. They don't believe any decision has been made, apart from one, and that is that Erling Haaland will move this summer. He will not extend at Dortmund. He will not stay for another year, barring a big injury or something that stops him from being able to move this summer. He will be leaving. He will be moving on to another football club. Everybody and their dog is in this fight. There isn't a top club in Europe, Bayern Munich, Barca, Real Madrid, PSG, both Manchester clubs, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. They are all looking. They are all doing their hell best to get themselves into a position to sign him. Now, we all know that Man United don't have a chance. Arsenal don't have a chance. I don't think Bayern Munich have a chance paying £500,000 a week, but they're all looking at ways in which to be able to sign this young man. One of the most ferocious goal scorers that football has ever seen at the elite level. Only the original Ronaldo, R9, has a better goals to games ratio at his age and time span. When they're in Europe, at the age they're at, the only player ever on record to start their career on point or better than Haaland is R9. Now, that isn't to suggest that Haaland is of the same level in terms of overall footballing ability. That is not the claim being made, but it shows you the potency, the brilliance of this man and why everybody and their dog wants to sign him. For me, I've said for a long time, if Manchester City sign him, it is curtains for a couple of years, at least until Pep leaves. You never know who the new manager is going to be and how it's going to go. But if Haaland signs for Manchester City, it is a wrap. It is over. It is done. My prediction for this man is simple. By 30 games into a season, he will break the most amount of goals scored in a Premier League campaign. He will break that record. I have no doubts about it whatsoever. Of course, that means he's got to be fit and playing in those 30 games. Let's get 30 games in, but he's only played 3. Of course, he's not going to break it. He's going to break Premier League records. He is going to make Manchester City practically unstoppable. And the reason I say that is this. He scores the majority of the sitters that come his way. The big chances, he has a huge conversion rate. But Haaland has this ability to score from positions and angles where you don't expect the ball to nestle into the back of the net. Very few attacking players have this. Ronaldo has it. Messi had it. Lewandowski has it now. Lewandowski developed it as he's got older. He's had it for a long time, but it took him. He didn't have it at Haaland's age. That's what I'm saying. Peak Suarez had it. Peak Harry Kane has it. It's few and far between. It's why this level of player is always paid the most, why this level of player always commands the most amount of transfer fees. Putting the ball in the back of the net is the hardest job in football. Every football person worth their salt knows that. Every manager tells you this. Every coach tells you this. Every agent tells you this. Every journalist will tell you this. Putting the ball in the back of the net is the hardest thing in football to do. It's why there are very few players that can break that 20 league goal a season mark. When you look at the amount of strikers there are, and there has been, and how many have broke that marker on a regular basis. Very few and far between. A tiny percentage of players. Haaland will be that guy. And when you look around the world right now, the next great goal scorers, you've got Haaland, you've got Mbappe. There's talk of the Vlahovics and other players like that, but those two are bona fiable. Barring injury or they stop working hard, they are going to break serious records. And Haaland's current goal scoring rate puts him on track to be one of the greatest goal scorers in the history of European football. You couple that with Manchester City's structure, their culture, their winning mentality, and their financial clout and power in the market, they could build great teams around him for the next 10 years. Now, it said that Haaland's next move isn't going to be his final move. It spoke about that Haaland's next move will be not so much a stopgap, but he'll do 4 or 5 years and then look to move on to another club. And this could very much be in his train of thought right now. But you have to then assess where the lie of the land come that time. With his father's connection to Manchester City and this burning desire in a lot of athletes as they get older. And we've seen, I say young, he's young to me, Paddy the Baddy is now part of the UFC, of course, talking about how his fights are not for money. His fights are about legacy. He wants to prove that he's the greatest of all time. Haaland might get the bit between his teeth once joining Man City. I could break Shearer's record. I could break whatever record Harry Kane's got. I could win 5, 6, 7 Premier Leagues. I could get more golden boots than Thierry Henry. I could leave. I could become the Premier League, which is the biggest, most famous and best league in the world. I could become the GOAT of that league. I've already done it in Germany to an extent. I'm already killing it in the Champions League. I could become the GOAT of the Premier League. I could knock Thierry Henry off his mantle. That is something which may not be in his desires now, maybe it is, but could develop as he just, as he starts to move into his mid-20s and your mindset changes. That could be it. City a place to do it. He's the right guy. He could, however, leave. But if he's a success, then Man City are going to get a colossal amount of money back when he does leave. No doubt about it whatsoever. And they'll reinvest it well. But in that meantime, he will, whatever team he goes to, by the way, they will win everything. Not every trophy every year. That's ridiculous. But they'll win it all. They'll win leagues, domestic trophies, and Champions Leagues. I look at him in this Dortmund team, and at times I just think, imagine him with better players. Imagine him with a better manager. And Pep Guardiola's team, they're stumbling right now. They're muttering, they're stuttering. They're not quite, they haven't kept up in the last 8-9 games with Liverpool. 7 points dropped to 0 points dropped. That's quite literally the epitome of not keeping up with somebody. If they had Haaland right now, there's no way Liverpool would have caught up this 13-point gap. There is not a catch chance in hell they would have caught them. Because in so many of the games they've dropped points, they need a killer. They don't have a killer. They don't have Aguero anymore. They missed out on Harry Kane. Could it be Haaland? As we say, the reports in Germany suggest, he's coming. And remember, the fee's pretty good around. I've seen all reports, anywhere between 60 and 70 million pounds is the reported amount. Highly likely that he's going to end up at one of the big 3 or 4 teams that's the powerhouses right now. The Man Cities, the Liverpools, Barca or Real Madrid. They're the only 3 that I can see him going to. And an interesting question here to Liverpool fans. It's reported that Mo Salah's asking for between £400,000 and £500,000 a week. Would you rather give it to Mo Salah at his age, approaching his 30s? Or would you rather your club, because remember, 60 to 70 million pounds cheap for Haaland because of the buyout clause. Would you rather go all out and offer him the money as your central striker and have the likes of Diaz and Jota and Mane playing off of Haaland? Could that be a better long-term investment for Liverpool with sell-on value if Haaland wants to leave over giving the new big money contract to to Mo Salah. I would love to get your take on that as well. But this transfer story, I think, is just started to bubble. And come the summer, it's going to be on everybody's lips, everybody's minds. Where will Erling Haaland end up? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings, people. Leave your comments below. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribing and you're hitting that bell notification button. Until next time, take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.